Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call to order the work session for the City of East Grand Forks for Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. Please turn on your microphones. Will the city clerk please call a roll?
Mayor Mark Olstead?
Here.
Council President Brian Larson?
Here.
Council Vice President Tim Riefel?
Here.
Council Members Tammy Schumacher?
Here.
Ben Pukshavinsky?
Here.
Bill Helms?
Here.
Donald Casey?
Here.
Karen Peterson?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Let's go to our first item of discussion. Consider Fire Station 2 garage renovation. Chief Boushee.
Thank you, Council President, Council, and Mayor. Yeah, what I'd like to talk to you about tonight is Fire Station 2 garage. The garage is 25 years old and it needs some repairs. It needs a new roof, it needs siding, fascia, and soffit. I received two proposals, one from ABC Seamless for $18,103 and another one from JC Renovations for $11,250. This project was planned for in the 2026 building maintenance fund, but there's funds available to do that job this year. So I would recommend that we proceed with this project in 2025 and we award this project to JC Renovations for $11,500.
Okay, thanks, Chief. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Riopel.
So looking at their estimate, it's not quite as spelled out, but it's basically they're apples for apples.
The difference with ABC is they do steel siding. I had a third company, approached a third company, but they were too busy.
Mr. Pukshavinsky.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I looked at these estimates as well, and I don't want to go through the same thing that happened with the roof on City Hall, where we give it to the smaller guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying let's spend the money to with ABC Seamless. I'm just hesitant. I'm not familiar with JC Renovations. Maybe someone else is, and they can vouch for them or whatever. But it's a big discrepancy. You said that Don's does steel, so what's JC Renovations doing?
They're going to do vinyl. They
Vinyl.
quoted it at vinyl. Yes.
Okay. How long will the vinyl last compared to the steel?
Well, I don't know that, but the current is vinyl, and that's been 25 years.
Okay.
I would say that steel would have, of course, last longer.
Okay. Is anybody familiar with JC Renovations?
I have a little bit of experience with him. He's one of our paid-on-call firefighters.
Okay.
He's been doing this for, I believe, 5 years. And he went on his own, and I haven't had any negative feedback from him.
And he'll have the materials?
Pardon me?
He'll have the materials. Wasn't that the issue with our roof here, is that they took the quote and then didn't have the materials for it?
I won't guarantee anything. But in our discussions, he had found the material. Originally, he didn't want to do it with material, and I requested that he include material.
Okay.
And he did identify the material and his supplier.
Okay. All right. That's my only concerns there. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Helms.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a question. I didn't drive up and next to the building and physically look at it, but driving down the road, the two sides that I seen on the siding, what's wrong with it? Is there some other parts that's bad, or?
Are you talking siding?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the side you can't see is damaged.
Okay.
And actually, both sides you can't see are damaged. That building was moved from its original place, and in the move, the bottom siding was damaged and never repaired.
Okay.
And then just over the years, it's just been beat up for many reasons. And there's also electrical conduit coming into the building. There's no electricity there. We'd get that removed, and that would leave holes in the vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
And then the biggest thing is color matchup. He was unable to match up color because of the fading.
Okay, I was just curious, because what I seen from the road didn't look all that bad, that's why I was kind of wondering, so. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Chief Boushee? All right, I see none. Thank you. Let's move on to item number 2, a review of Xcel Energy franchise fee renewal. Mr. Huttunen.
Thanks, Mr. President, council members. As you recall, earlier this spring, we brought forward the discussion of the Xcel Energy franchise renewal and the proposed fee structure to go along with that. Mr. Gallstead and myself have been working through any amendments to the ordinance language itself and have that nearly completed. There are just a couple of open items that I don't see any issue with us getting to resolution on over the next couple of weeks with Xcel. In the RCA, I laid out the timeline for publication of amendments to the ordinance per our city charter, and that required 2 readings followed by the 90-day notice period that Xcel Energy is required to provide to its customers. So in order to have this ready for an effective date of December 1st of this year, which is when the current ordinance expires, we would plan on having a first reading and public hearing at the August 5th City Council meeting. So just kind of final touch base with council on the proposed fee structure as detailed in the council packet and which was discussed at the previous City Council work session. Take any feedback on that and any questions on the ordinance. There's 2 ordinances. The first ordinance is kind of a long form that deals with the governance and the provisions of Xcel's use of our right-of-way for their delivery of natural gas. The second ordinance speaks specifically to the fee structure. So if at any rate time in the next 20-year period of this new ordinance update, we need to adjust the fees, or if new business classes come on that need a fee established, we would only have to amend that ordinance and not the full ordinance. So with that, any questions or direction I can help with?
All right, thank you, Reid. Mr. Pukshavinsky.
Thank you, Mr. President. I brought this up last time, and I kind of want to hit at it again. Do we know what the actual franchise fee for commercial firm demand and small interruptible was actually paid? Because those figures aren't in here.
Yeah, and we don't. Xcel Energy will not disclose that to us.
We don't have a way to do the math? It's got the 12 month of what, I assume we know what we've gotten in the past. Do they not break that out for us?
No, they just give us a check.
They just give us a check.
I have I wrote down what the last 4 years were. So in 2024, we got 119,726. 2023, we got 146,731. 2022, we had 180,487. And in 2021, we had 84,883. So the average is 132,957 for the last 4 years.
Okay.
So when they're at the 5%, they're saying 143.
Okay, so my concern here is that we're just, maybe we want to do this is give these larger firms some sort of a break, but it's looking like the fee. There's a discount on the commercial firm demand and the commercial firm, the small interruptible. And do we maybe want to have a higher fee on those 2?
And I would assume they're taking that by what their usage is.
Sure. But
That's how they came up with that rate.
Yeah, so
Yes.
my question there is there a firm that say should be paying 500 and then there's another firm that's in that group that, should only be paying 150, right? Is one of them being penalized because they're being lumped in with another entity that is paying a lot more, but because they're now classified as the same, they're, someone's getting a break and then someone's being penalized. Right, and I get it that there's really no way that we can get that information, but I'm like, I don't like it.
A list, without names.
They
of
won't.
anything?
No.
They won't give you
No,
anything?
so, Mr.
Well, we just want to
Bukshavinsky,
make sure they're fair.
to your question, they won't give us the list.
Right.
They won't even give us an anonymous list because
Right,
they
that
said
I understand.
it's so few members that we would, in all likelihood, be able to look at the list
And know who it is.
deductive reasoning, figure out who the customers are.
Right.
The column, as you look at that last spreadsheet that has kind of a proposed fee structure, the column says equivalent monthly flat fee. That was provided to us by Xcel Energy. That's their recommendation under kind of, if we need to stay under the 5% statutory limit. That was the proposed fee structure they gave to us. The far right column highlighted in blue, that is my rounding essentially, just to try to get to a round flat dollar amount for each fee. So, Xcel Energy's guidance to us or recommendation would be the second column from the right, the equivalent monthly fee. To your question and point, if we're giving somebody a little discount, that would be the proposed, we could go up to that amount. Is one customer potentially getting a discount and another one paying a little more? I have no idea of how to qualify that with the information that Xcel has shared with us.
Right. And, maybe it doesn't matter because it's a small fee probably for these larger entities that they may not even notice. But I just don't know if it's negotiating in good faith. So, I don't know. I don't know if I can vote yes on it, but does it matter? Probably not. So,
And for some of them, it could be a savings because of their usage too.
right.
And maybe,
And for sure, a few of them probably, depending on the year. Because, that when we collected the 180,000, that was because of probably those on demand, those high users. And of course, the weather. So everybody paid more, but.
yeah, and I wouldn't begin to guess to that one way or another.
Right.
The question, Ben, on I think maybe just important to point out on negotiating in good faith, Xcel Energy will take our guidance on this 100%. We haven't been negotiating the fee structure with them.
Sure.
They are willing to pass on whatever fee we ask in it. Just that it has to be within the statutory limit of no more than 5% of the gross earnings. And the state of Minnesota is now asking for that 5% to be translated into a flat fee rather than based on usage. So, I would presume now, while you would expect customers are using more natural gas in the cold season, rather than having a much larger bill in those use months,
Right,
now
it levels
this
it out
is going to be spread
among
out
all
over
12
the
months.
entire 12
Yeah,
month
and
period.
that I understand, and I think that is that's a win for our residents and for our community. It's just not knowing the exact figures is bothersome. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Huttunen? Okay. Oh, Mr. Helms, please.
If I may I go back to the garage for a minute?
You may, Mr. Helms, yes.
I have a question for Chief Boushee is, when they do all this stuff to the garage, are they gonna paint any trim or whatever's there too,
Sure. Yeah, we can certainly look at that.
If you would, I think we should do that, because if it's 25 years old, that's not gonna be very good shape either.
Sure.
So I was gonna ask that earlier, I forgot all about it, I just thought of it, so, okay, thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, that brings us to the end of our agenda for the work session. That being said, I would be looking for a motion to close the work session. Moved by Bukshavinsky, second by Helms. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Opposed, same sign. This is the work session